Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I had everything set up to go, and when I pushed it to start, I had accidentally touched the Go Live Together button, and it wouldn't let me change. I had to completely start over, so that made me a couple minutes late. So the title of my video this week is a zippity doodah card. So I'm using the all zipped up stamp and die set, which is on the last chance list. So I wanted to bring it on and play with it one more time before it's retired, and to basically let you know that it's going away. So if you love these dies in particular and the stamps, you will want to get them before they're gone. And also I want to mention, by the way, my name's Janna if you're new here, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today only is a sale going on at Stampin' Up! For 15% off of stamps and stamping tools. So you just kind of have to look around and see what they've included as far as tools, but I think it would be like maybe the stamp blocks and the things like this, the stamp and scrub. I think we still have this, right? The the little cleaner things, which look much prettier when they're brand new. They're this purpley color. That kind of stuff. The stamp and mist, this would be, you know, considered stamping tools. So 15% off stamps. Now, this you could get in a bundle. However, I think if you bought them separately, you would save 10% on a bundle. But if you bought them separately, you could save 15% off the stamp set. You'd be paying full price for the dies. So you might just check the math on that and see which is the better deal when it comes to buying things in a bundle. Okay, so let's get started. While I'm going to be using the all zipped up bundle, I am also going to use this cute little penguin stamp out of the Choose Happy. So let me get my parts and pieces here. I did pre-die cut pretty much everything that needed to be die cut just to save some time. So I've got a little scrap of white here. Let me grab my stamp. Where is he? Right there. I wanted to do a Christmas theme on this one, but a Halloween theme would be fun too. And there is a pumpkin in this set for what I'm going to be using this for here. And I'm just going to pull out my Memento Tuxedo Black. There is not a die set for this stamp set of Choose Happy. Cute. Okay. And then I grabbed a couple of my Stampin' Blend markers. I've got Light Pumpkin Pie and Dark Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to use the Light Pumpkin Pie to color his little feet. Can't get any easier than the coloring on this little guy. And I'm going to use my yellow here to color his beak. And he's done, except for cutting him out. And I will fussy cut him really quick. Hi, my bestie friend. Okay. I'm gonna leave just a tiny bit of white border. Sometimes just because when you do that, it makes it a little bit easier to do the fussy cutting. So not much of a border, but just barely there. Ooh, I had my first iced pumpkin latte of the season this morning. And it was quite tasty. So I believe that that sale goes until midnight tonight, Mountain Time. And if you are catching this on the replay, this is for today, which is September 18th. Yeah, just making sure I had my day right. The 18th of September 2025. Okay, there's that. Now then, so we're gonna do, you may have seen me make this card before, which is like a hoodie type card. And so I made myself a little template. And so the measurements of this are just what our normal A2 size card is, which is 4¼ across and 5½ tall. And then I measured down 2¾ inches from the center. I found my center, which is 2⅛ inch. So you want to find your center and draw yourself a pencil line. And then from the top of the card, measure down 2¾ inches and put a little mark here. And then measure over 1 1/8 from each side and put a little dot, and then that will give you your V shape to cut out. And I will show you when we get ready to do that here. So it's very simple. And if you make a template for yourself like this, then the next time you want to make one, you don't have to do any measuring. You just simply will lay it on top of your card and draw a pencil line, and you'll have your V shape to cut out. Now that is assuming that you want your V to go down as far as I did. You don't have to make it go down that far, so you don't have to have your shirt or your sweatshirt jacket unzipped that far. It's all in how you want to, you know, create. But that's what I did. And then you'll just cut that piece out. And you don't even need to worry if there's still pencil line on there because we're going to be covering that up. There we go. Okay. So now then, what do I want to do next? I've already pre-cut my little pockets. So there they are. Let me set the die set here so you can kind of see it maybe while I'm doing this. So you can see the pieces there, the pockets there. And then these pieces here are the trim. And there's 2 of those dies right here. So I'm I got my little finger dauber, and the cardstock I'm using is Real Red, and I'm just gonna get my same color of ink here, and I'm gonna go around the edges. And really, I don't need to go down that V because my zipper's going to be going there, so I don't need to bother with that really. Now, if you have a texture embossing folder, like a sweater texture or fabric texture, that makes for a really cute card to use that on this piece. A cable sweater would be very cute. And I know those kind of embossing folders are out there. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to do the same thing with the little pockets here. You don't have to do this part, but if it's just a solid plain color, I just think it adds a little bit of personality to it. You could totally do this with a pattern printed paper. Also very fun. So you could make like an ugly sweater one with some fun Christmas paper. You're only limited by your creativity, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna go down the edges of this as well. And don't be saying you're not creative, because you are. It's in there. We are all creative in some way. I'm sure you probably have thoughts in your head of you would be doing what I'm doing in a different way. I know when I watch videos, I do that. I'm like, no, don't put that there, or choose a different color, you know. I'm always talking to the videos when I'm watching them. Maybe not out loud, but in my mind. Sometimes out loud, though. Okay. So I think I am done with that. All right. Next. I think we're ready to, well, maybe. No, let's go over to this piece. So I have a piece of pattern paper here, and this is from, let me grab it. Oops, I grabbed 2 packages of paper. This is from this paper here, which is the On the Go. Now, the paper for this suite is not going away, but the rest of the stuff pretty much is. The stamps are going away, and the dies, and this has that fun suitcase die in the die set, and it has the fun little key fobs and stuff like what you're seeing on the patterned paper here. It has those things in the dies, and the stamps. They are all also on the last chance thing. So I've only played with that set one time. Things are just going away too quickly. All right, I'm using the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to create a little neckline in this shirt. So I'm just going to stick it in my punch and kind of see that I have it even on the edges. And I'm just going to cut out a little divot here, not much, to give my shirt a neckline. But if you want yours to look more feminine, you might want to take it down just a little bit lower. Okay, now then, I've got a piece, a little scrap piece here of shaded spruce, and I am going to do the same thing. Oh, I can't hang on to it very well. Okay, so I'm going to cut out about the same size of divot, for lack of a better word. And then let me get something sticky here to stick to that so I can reach it better in my punch. So I just have a sticky note, and I'm going to stick it on the edge of my paper so I have like a little handle, okay? And I'm going to put it back in here. What I'm doing is creating the trim for the neck of my t-shirt. So I don't want it real wide. That looks pretty good. Whee! There it is. So now I have that, and I probably should grab my green little dauber that's that color. So, shaded spruce. Let me see how quickly I can find it. Let's see if this is it. It is! And I'll grab my ink pad here. And I'm just going to kind of do the same thing that I did with the red. I'm going to just do it around the trim of the t-shirt here. And again, if you have a texture, like a fabric texture, you could run this little piece through that too. Be cute. Embossing folder is what I mean. Okay, so let me get my glue. Hi, Dawn. And I probably should grab one of my... Ooh, now if this is considered a stamping tool, I didn't go on to look at all what they considered a stamping tool. But if they consider this a stamping tool and you don't have one, I would definitely pick one of these little silicone mats. They're not expensive anyway, but I'm not sure if it's included as a stamping tool. Come on, glue. There we go. I know I say it every time, but I do love my glue press. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put this on here. Squiggle it around till it's where I want it. Really, all I need is for the pattern paper not to be sticking up and showing there. Okay, so there we go with that. All right, now next, what is the next step I want to do? Okay, we're going to put the zipper on. We don't even have to sew. Okay, so I went ahead and cut it out. It does leave some areas that don't cut out for whatever reason. So you just have to grab your scissors and trim it out. I'm sure there is a reason and a purpose for why it does that. Okay, and then so in the die set, you've got this piece, which is right here, and then you have this whole long strip of the rest of the zipper. So if you just wanted to use this and have something that is zipped up all the way, you can certainly do that. You can also make your, if you're doing a jacket, you could make it not as deep as mine and take it up further. You just would have to make your V more closed, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do the zipper, and you just pull it up till you can't see any more of your cardstock showing on either side. It does just leave a very small border for your glue in the background or in the back, so you just want to be mindful of that. Looks like I've got a fuzzy on my glue here. Probably a pet hair. Okay. So now then, I'm just going to try to get it so this isn't going wonky down here. I don't want my zipper going crooked. And sometimes you just have to finagle it a little bit, maybe pull it to one side or the other. As long as you've got it glued to your cardstock, that is what you need to do. I think I need to put a little more glue along the edge over here. Okay, I think that looks all right. And then here, what I like to do is just trim it off so my zipper lines up as best as I can. I don't think people are going to look that close, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I might need to go, well, no, that looks okay, I think. I think that's all right. And the zipper does come apart. It's stuck close together down here, but it does come apart. So you just have to keep that in mind. Get some glue on it here. Okay, our jacket is coming right along. All right, so now then, I'm gonna go ahead and snip this off. Okie dokie. So now we can bring in our trim, and you just kind of have to put it on here and figure out where it fits best, because it comes to this V, which aligns to the V here in the zipper area. And I think that one looks best on that side, so then I know this one will be fine over here. And that will be our little trim. So cute. I made these cards for some of our grandsons for their birthdays, and they just got a big kick out of them. And actually granddaughters too. I made some that were more for a girl and some that were more for a boy. Our one grandson, I did his with a golfing theme, and it turned out really cute. I used paper that had golf balls on it and stuff. Oh boy, I didn't look up. Look at all you people talking. Hi Anna, hi Sue. Aw, hi Vicky. Hi Kathy. So Stampin' Up, it's these are Stampin' Up products, and if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I do have the link in the description box if you'd like to shop with me. And I said earlier, if you missed out, that today only stamps and stamping tools, what Stampin' Up says are stamping tools, it is not the dies, I can tell you that, are 15% off. So at least the stamps are 15% off. And I will show you the stamp set that goes along with this die set. It's this one here. It does have the zipping by to say hello, which is really cute. And then some other little fun things. Okay, so there we have that. I'm so happy to see so many of you chatting. Thank you. It's so fun. I feel like you're just right here in my stamp room. Okay, so it's getting pretty cute. All right, so I'm thinking at this point, I still need to put the pockets on and stuff, but I'm thinking at this point we can attach that to the front of the card. So I've just got my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card in real red cardstock here. But before I can put this piece down, I need to put this piece down. Now, if you want to make it look like there's a person, that this is on a person, you could take some fleshy color, whatever color you would like, and put there. I'm not going to do that, but you can. And actually what I'm going to do is attach this to this piece instead of trying to make sure that I'm matching it up where I want it on the card. So let me just get some glue on it here. And I really didn't need this big of a piece of patterned cardstock, but it's okay. It's here now. All right, so let me just lay this down here and line this up where I want it. Make sure I have glue off my fingers. Do I want it all the way up to the top? All right, that's okay. Cute. All right, now then, I'm going to put this on the card front. I can see where I got just a little bit of glue on that foil, and it always shows up so bad. Okay, so let me get glue all over the place back here, and we will get this attached to the card front. Use whatever adhesive you like to do that. You could use tear and tape or glue runner, whatever you like to use. But I've got my liquid glue here, so that is what I'm going to do. That seems like it will be enough. Okay. There we go. While I'm at it, I think I will go ahead and put my piece of white in, and I am just going to grab my ATG gun to do that. For those of you who watch our Miss Jill Norwood, did you guys see that she put out a video today? I was so excited to, I told her to see her hands and hear her voice. All right, so I'm going to glue this pocket on. And you can position the pockets wherever you like. If you like them closer to the zipper, put them there. I'm going to put them more to the outside edge here. And before I glue this one down, I die cut out, stamped and cut out a little candy cane. And I did that from a new set we have, which is this one, Homemade Treats. How adorable is this? So it's got the cookie dough there, and then all the little cookies that you can fit back into the cookie dough if you want to, or use them separately. I love the little gingerbread. I think it's so cute. But this is where I got the candy cane from. Look at this little scatter here that you could use for sprinkles. So cute. It's all so adorable. And these are the dies. There's a cookie pan in here. I like that they give you 2 each of these because it makes for faster die cutting if you are making multiples of things. So this is called Homemade Treats, and you can get it in a bundle and save 10%. Or with that sale that's going on today, check your math because I haven't mathed it out to see if it's less expensive to buy these separately. I think it would be because you save 10% buying them together, but today only you can get 15% off the stamp set. The die set would just be full price. I'm sure that's got to be a better deal. Just make sure you order them individually and not as a bundle. Okay, I am going to put a little bit of glue on and tuck it in the pocket. Too cute. Okay. It is a Christmas design, but it certainly could be any design you want it to be. That's what I think's fun about it. It can be whatever, but if you missed out at the beginning, what I said, it's on the last chance list, so you gotta grab it before they take it all away. Makes me so sad. Okay, so there we go. There's the pockets. Oh, I forgot to stick my strings on. Well, I will figure that out. Okay, here's the zipper pull. And before I put that on, I've got some twine over here. We are still decorating this up, and I should have done this. I'm going to figure it out. Can I pull this back a little bit? I'm going to pull this up and then I will re-glue it down. Because, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. We got to have strings on our jacket. I'm just tying little knots in the end here. And let's see. I'll cut it to right about there. And let's get another one here. I've got glue on my fingers. Okay, there we go. So now, I think I can. I am going to get my take your pick tool so I can have this pokey part. And let me just stick this in here and squirt a little glue in there. I know I can do it because I should have done this part already. Let's just stick this down in there. Can I do it? Hee hee. Okay, I knew I could do it. All right, let's do the other one. Let me stick a little glue down in there without getting it all over the place. There we go. And where there's a will, there's a way, I'm telling you. Okay, there's that. Now then, I have a green dot. I'm going to put it here because I want this to be Christmassy. What happened to my zipper pull? Here it is. I need to cut another little piece of this. And hee hee. All right. Oh, look at how much personality that gives that. Let's get the glue off there. So cute. All right, I'm gonna let that sit there. All right, so now, get my strings out of the way there for a minute. I'm gonna put this there. Because this garment here came from maybe the North Pole, I'm not sure. Or it might be the Penguin Clothing Company. Who knows? I mean, it could be that, right? Because our little penguin's gonna go right on there. It could be their logo, the Penguin Clothing Company. I'm not sure. But we're gonna put this on there. Now, I think the gingerbread man from this set would be adorable on there. Any of those. The little Santa hat. You could put any little logo on your sweatshirt that you want to, because it's your sweatshirt. Okay, so then, this is such a fine tip here. I am going to just put a little tiny dollop of glue on there and pull it down here and just set it there so that my string stays put. Okay, and I'll do the same with this. Now, if you just want your strings to fly in the breeze, you know, you don't have to glue them down. We'll just glue this one here. It's a sweatshirt. There you have it, my friends. Now, what have I got going on there? I don't want that showing. I think a little piece of my patterned paper is showing there. Okay, so then you can put any holiday greeting in there that you want. And if you don't make it a Christmassy themed, whatever, you know, make it whatever. But here's a green one that I made. Same thing. I think they're cute. And I just think you could even take the zipping by to say hello and put inside along with Merry Christmas or something with it if you wanted to have the zipping thing in there. Or you could mask out the to say hello and put Merry Christmas zipping by to say, oh, the hello. That's all you would have to mask out. is the hello. Zipping by to say Merry Christmas. Perfect. Mask that off. Put the Merry Christmas underneath. Yes. So cute. You kind of want to just grab the zipper and unzip it. But if I did that, it would ruin the card, right? So I think they turned out cute. And now it is time for story time. I think we're going to finish up Fairyopolis today. Let me grab it. Fairyopolis. Okay, is this where we left off last time? I think so. So, what have we got here? Well, maybe we won't finish it up. I guess we have a few more pages than I thought we did. I don't think we read this one last time. We are on the 8th of September. What an enjoyable day I had at the feet. I think I have become quite famous in the village as the lady staying up at Barton's. I revealed that I was an artist by profession and had a long conversation with the vicar about the local fauna. Everyone was most complimentary about my jam. A little later, I spotted Violet from the shop running the cake stall. She insisted on well, I'm sorry what that, I don't know what that word is. She insisted on, it looks like it says flying. That's not it. Gifting, I'm going to say gifting me with a vast array of home-baked offerings. I then spent a happy afternoon wandering among the various stalls, even tried my hand at the coconut shy. I don't know what that is. Bought Edith a rather lovely basket as a thank you gift for when she returns from her travels in India. And here is the Storrington Residents Association presents the annual Storrington Village Fete. So this is what she went to on Saturday, the 7th of September. Attractions included bric-a-brac, tombola, children's roundabout, coconut shy, that's what she was talking about down there, tug of war, local crafts, Morris dancers, teas, and cake stall. There's different words in this book because it's from somewhere else, so there's things I don't recognize. There was musical entertainment. The committee presented Mr. Stanley Arpington with his amazing sheepdogs, ducks, and geese at 3 p.m. in the marquee, and all were welcome. Entry was $2D per person, children free, and no dogs, please. And this was paid in full. Look at this cute little fairy up here. And that. When the festivities were over, I cycled back home. As dusk fell, there was a magical feel to the evening. One could almost see groups of fairies flitting about the shadowy fields. As I meandered along, my mind full of the day's events, I remembered reading that fairies enjoy their own kinds of gatherings. I looked it up in my books when I got in. Feasting at the fair, bowls of nectar, acorn cups brimming with morning dew, fairy cakes, made a little sketch to go with my readings. How I wish I could catch a glimpse of a fairy fair. And fairy cheese down here. The fairy fair. Hundred of fairies gather at nighttime for one of their favorite events, the Fairy Fair. This meeting of the fairies is primarily a market for trading of various goods, mostly crafts and wares. However, the fairies take full advantage of the situation and enjoy socializing, singing, dancing, and generally making merry. There are many eyewitness accounts of fairies congregating at such fairs. The most famous fairy market is said to be held at the Black Down in Somerset. There are various accounts of this event described in West County Tales. The fairies also barter for fruit, crockery, trinkets, and musical instruments. Flutes and tambourines are particular favorites. Some fairies are expert shoemakers and bring along pairs of tiny fairy shoes to sell. Oopsie, I've got a craft-a-lunch happening over here. Sorry. 13th of September. Felt rather unwell yesterday. I seem to have caught a cold. So I took my cup of chamomile tea and retired to bed for most of the day. I had just dozed off when I felt a peculiar sensation at the end of my big toe. It began as a slight tickle, then became a rather hard pinch. My toe was red and throbbing as if I had been stung by a bee, but no bug was in the vicinity. A gleeful chuckle emerged from behind the curtain. I pulled it back, and there was a sudden flash of color, then nothing. I caught a glimpse of something from the corner of my eye. Some kind of sparkling dust was scattered all over the underdown. I carefully gathered up what I could. I believe this to be fairy dust. I cannot say how relieved I am to have some physical evidence at last. I am not imagining things. Let's see what it is. Fairy dust is inside there, all pretty and sparkly. 14th of September, and this will be the last one I read for today. Interesting, my poetry book contains a verse that is rather enlightening as to the reason for my assault. Yesterday I had left various chores undone, which is very unlike me, but I was feeling most poorly. Apparently the fairies are famous for pinching the toes of untidy humans. I do believe I have been scolded by the fairies. I also suspect the fairy dust was scattered as a housekeeping test. Let us hope I have passed. She that pinches country wenches if they rub not clean their benches, and with sharper nails remembers when they rake not up their embers. I will be sure to keep Bartons in shipshape order from now on. I have since learnt that fairies love neatness and cleanliness. They especially appreciate tidy, well-kept houses. And this is some kind of soap that I don't know the name of there. Washing soda, scrubbing brush, turpentine, and linseed oil to black lead the great, vinegar and borax. This is her list for cleaning. And there is all the fairy dust sprinkled about. All right, so there's that for this time. And so we still have just a few more pages till the end of the book. A couple, it looks like. And then, like I said last time, I will try to get something that is not so much a fairy tale, maybe. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you will give me a thumbs up, and I hope that you like these fun little cards. Let me bring the stamps and dies back over again. All zipped up is this set, but I'm going to say better to purchase it individually and get your 15% off of the stamps. Okay, I hope you have a fabulous weekend ahead, that you get to do some crafty something or another, whatever that might be. Take care. I will see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.